Luna Lovegood is one of the most fascinating characters in Harry Potter. What makes her stand out even more is how perfectly the actress captured her essence, just as she was described in the books. She's kind, brave, and unique, with an eccentric charm that sets her apart. Probably the strangest character in the entire series. She spoke at odd moments, believed in things others dismissed as nonsense, wore bizarre outfits, and had a peculiar way of talking. But why was she so unusual? What lay behind her dreamy kindness? Luna's past holds secrets that shaped her in ways few realize. Luna was a proud Ravenclaw, which meant she was highly intelligent. Some even argue she would have fit in Gryffindor given her bravery. A year younger than Harry, she met him, Ron, and Hermione only in her 4th year. At first, her classmates mocked her for her odd appearance, strange speech, and distant demeanor. But as the battle against Voldemort unfolded, Luna proved her courage and brilliance, earning everyone's respect. She fought Death Eaters, hunted Horcruxes, and stood with Dumbledore's army against the Dark Lord. After the war, she married and became a renowned magizoologist, traveling the world to study magical creatures and discovering entirely new species. Her unusual nature was deeply rooted in her past. Luna's parents, Xenophilius and Pandora Lovegood, were anything but ordinary. Her mother, a gifted witch, loved experimenting with spells. But one of her experiments went horribly wrong. She died right before 9-year-old Luna's eyes. This tragedy left a mark on the little girl. She withdrew into herself, finding solace in fantasy and the unseen. Her father, equally eccentric, adored her. After losing his wife, he poured all his love into Luna, shielding her from reality with whimsical stories and magical ideas. He raised her in a world where the impossible seemed possible, where creatures others dismissed as myths were real. Luna's oddities had clear reasons. Her unique fashion sense mirrored her father's. Her detachment came from being raised in a bubble of imagination, a way to escape the grief of losing her mother. The quiet sadness beneath her dreamy exterior was a wound from childhood that never fully healed. But despite, or maybe because of, her quirks, Luna is one of the most beloved characters. She carried pain, yet remained strong, kind, and compassionate, not just to people, but to all living beings. What do you think of Luna Lovegood? Luna Lovegood was never just another student at Hogwarts. She walked the corridors like a traveler from another world, her mind drifting beyond the walls of the castle. While others worried about Quidditch, exams, or the latest gossip, Luna seemed to exist in a space entirely her own. She wasn't concerned with fitting in or winning anyone's approval. That was part of her magic. She was effortlessly, unapologetically herself. But that didn't mean she was immune to loneliness. The teasing and whispers followed her wherever she went. Students called her Loony Lovegood, laughed at her beliefs, and snatched her belongings just to see how she would react. They expected anger or tears, but Luna rarely gave them the satisfaction. She would simply smile as if she knew something they didn't, as if their cruelty was nothing more than a passing breeze. In truth, she did feel lonely sometimes, but she had her own ways of coping. The creatures she believed in, Nargles, Raxperts, and crumple-horned Snorkax, were more than just fantasies. They were companions, symbols of a world where she wasn't the odd one out. In a way, she had built a reality where she could always belong. Her room at home reflected her unusual mind. Painted on the ceiling were 5 enormous faces: Harry, Ron, Hermione, Ginny, and Neville, woven together with the word friends. She didn't have many, but the ones she did have meant the world to her. It wasn't until Dumbledore's army that she truly found her place. Finding family in Dumbledore's army. The DA changed everything. For the first time, Luna wasn't just an outsider looking in, she was part of something bigger. Harry didn't dismiss her beliefs, Hermione didn't roll her eyes at her theories, and Neville, sweet and awkward, never once mocked her for being different. They fought together, trained together, believed in each other. Luna may have looked delicate, but she was fierce in battle. During the raid on the Department of Mysteries, she stayed calm while others panicked. She moved lightly, gracefully, dodging spells as if dancing through the chaos. Even in the face of death, she never lost her eerie composure. Later, at Malfoy Manor, she was taken captive by Death Eaters. For weeks she endured the darkness of the dungeons, locked away alongside the wand maker Ollivander. Yet even there, in the cold and fear, she remained Luna. She comforted Ollivander, whispered gentle reassurances, and refused to break, who, when Dobby arrived to rescue them, she was the first to thank him. Even as they fled for their lives, she took the time to show gratitude. That was Luna, kindness, even in the face of cruelty. Recall us the Battle of Hogwarts. On the night of the final battle, Luna stood side by side with her friends, ready to fight. The castle trembled, the sky burned, and yet she was unshaken. She didn't duel out of rage or revenge. She fought because it was the right thing to do. When Harry doubted himself, she was the one who guided him toward the Grey Lady's ghost, helping him find the lost Ravenclaw diadem. Without Luna, one of Voldemort's Horcruxes might never have been destroyed. Even in the chaos, she never lost her softness. In the Great Hall, after the battle had ended and the losses became clear, Luna saw Harry, exhausted and overwhelmed, surrounded by a crowd that wouldn't leave him alone. Without hesitation, she stepped forward. "Excuse me," she said gently, "but I think Harry needs some peace and quiet." And for the first time that night, silence fell. That was her magic, not just spells and wand work, but the ability to see people, really see them. Life after Hogwarts. After the war, Luna didn't stay in one place for long. She had always been a wanderer, and the world was too full of wonders to be ignored. She travelled to distant lands, studying magical creatures, documenting species most wizards dismissed as myths. She met Rolf Scamander, grandson of the famous magizoologist Newt Scamander, and together they built a life of adventure. They roamed jungles, scaled mountains, and sailed across oceans in search of the unseen. Luna never stopped being Luna. She still wore radish earrings, still read The Quibbler, still believed in things others found absurd. But she was happy. She had carved out a life where she didn't have to explain herself, where she was loved just as she was. She and Rolf had twin sons, Lorcan and Lysander, who inherited their parents' curiosity and wild hearts. Their home was filled with strange artifacts, peculiar pets, and stories of the impossible. Luna never looked back with bitterness. She didn't dwell on the cruelty of her childhood or the pain of her past. Instead, she embraced every experience as part of her journey. She had lost much, but she had gained even more. And above all, she had remained true to herself. Read the legacy of Luna Lovegood. Luna's story is a reminder that being different isn't a weakness, it's a strength. She never let the world change her. She never stopped believing in magic, even when others stopped believing in her. She proved that kindness and courage aren't separate things, that softness and strength can exist together. She wasn't just a dreamer, she was a fighter, a survivor, a friend. And maybe, just maybe, the world is a little better because Luna Lovegood was